Hey, how's it going, do-it-yourselfers? Today I'm going to show you the easiest way to remove and replace a bad radiator on your car. Now I'm going to be doing this procedure on this 1992 Honda Prelude, but this procedure should be very similar on any car, make and model, but again, especially on any car with the 4-cylinder engine, this procedure should be pretty much the same. All right, goes without saying, when you want to remove the radiator, make sure the engine has cooled down and the coolant is not hot, otherwise you're going to get badly burned. All right, next, if you have easy access to the drain plug on the radiator, you want to open that, put some catch cans underneath here and drain the coolant. But the way I'm going to do it on this car is not going to require really draining out all the coolant or gaining access to the drain plug. All right, now as you can see on this car, there's not much coolant in this radiator to begin with, but even if there was coolant in this radiator, what I would do is actually just remove this upper radiator hose at the radiator. Now, this is pretty much the highest point of your cooling system on this car, and when you remove this upper hose, you're just going to drain out the coolant that's in this hose and maybe the top part of the radiator. That way, you don't have to go down underneath the car trying to find the drain valve or the drain plug and deal with all of that. So basically, we'll remove this clamp, wiggle this back and forth. There. And then once you drain it to where you want it to go, you just push this aside, or you can, stick it somewhere that's out of the way. All right, now for those of you that are beginners, here's basically what the plan is. On your radiator, you have basically two coolant hoses. You have this upper hose that we just removed, and then you have your lower radiator hose. That's it right there. That goes to the lower part of the radiator. It comes up here. Then, if you have an automatic transmission, you're going to have two hoses carrying transmission fluid to the radiator as well. Those are usually on the bottom of the radiator. This car is an automatic and we'll have to remove those two as well. Then you have your connectors for your cooling fans. These guys are usually easily accessible on the 4-cylinder cars. You can see one right there. There's another one further down. I'll show you later. And then you have brackets and stuff holding the radiator in. And then usually you have this your radiator connected to your AC condenser, which is this guy right here. Usually through a bracket, there's going to be a couple bolts that you need to remove to disconnect it from that AC condenser. So when you do all of that, you can basically remove the radiator with or without the hoses, depending how easy access you have to them. Like for this, the lower radiator hose that goes up here, we're not going to go down there and try to remove it from the bottom. We're just going to remove it from up top here, then pull it out with the radiator. And then we're going to pull out the radiator with the cooling fans as well. And then we're going to swap over whatever we need to swap over to the new radiator and then push that back in and reconnect everything. This is the easiest way you can go about removing and replacing a radiator especially on a 4-cylinder car. All right, so as we talked about, we're going to remove this lower radiator hose that comes up here and it's connected through that clamp. We're going to remove that clamp and remove this hose. So there's the clamp. By the way, this air intake tube is loose for some reason. Push this off. And again, if you didn't drain your cooling system, you're going to have coolant coming out of there. Now, coolant coming out of there on this car is going to be on the transmission housing, and it's going to just drip down underneath the car. It's not going to damage anything. You can just put catch pans underneath there and then catch all the coolant. But if you're uncomfortable doing this, you can drain the coolant from the cooling system to begin with. All right, next we'll remove this hose that goes to our overflow tank. There, get it out of this clamp, set it to the side. All right, next we need to remove the connectors for our radiator fans. Here's one up here. Easy access to this one. Just push this pin down and pull, and that's it. Then we'll push this connector to the side, and then there's another one right down there that's going to be hard to show you while I remove it, but that needs to be removed as well. There's that. All right, next on to these brackets that are holding our radiator to our radiator support. These are held in by 10mm bolts. There's one here, there's another one here, and then there's this that holds in this line that that's for our AC system. We need to loosen that from here, and then hopefully we can just simply push that up and out of the way. There's one. There's the bolts for this one. And okay, we can't actually push this out of the way. We need to remove this bolt as well. There we go. And there's this one. And here's a closer look at that bracket. It holds in our two AC lines. All right, so next, this car being at automatic again, we're gonna have two transmission cooler lines. And look at that. Then right there's the top one, and then there's another one right underneath it, and the clamps are right there. So we're gonna remove those clamps and disconnect them right here on the engine side and not bother trying to dig down there and remove them from the radiator side. All right, this should be easy enough. All right, same thing. We give these hoses a good old twister, push them down. Again, get your catch pan underneath because you're gonna lose some transmission fluid. All right, now we remove the other one. And there's the second one. All right, so here's a closer look at what we just did. There's the lines for our transmission lines. Transmission lines are removed and pushed out of the way. You can see one down there, one right here. Now, this lower radiator hose actually needs to come underneath these two AC lines and be on this side since we're planning on pulling this radiator out this way. So we're gonna just push that down and underneath right now. All right, again, coolant is gonna come out. If you're uncomfortable with coolant getting all over the place, jack up your car, remove a splash shield probably. If you're lucky, maybe you just can't have easy access to the drain plug on the radiator, and remove it like that. But now, we should be able to push everything out together. If, that's a big if, we're disconnected from our condenser as we talked about. This side is pretty loose, but this side looks like it's connected. There's probably a bracket down there. Trying to get you guys a closer look. Actually, there's nothing connecting this to the condenser on this car. It was actually stuck underneath this this part of the radiator support right here. So we're actually pretty good. We should be able to remove everything. All right, let's do this. Okay, we're just pushing the transmission hoses underneath the AC lines so we can get them out. There's another connector here that we missed. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. Now, we should have no problem getting this out. There it is. There's the connector on the other side. Alrighty, so here's a look at our radiator out of the car. Here's a look at the transmission cooler lines. You got two lines, you got this guy and this one. This one is connected by the way of this bracket that also has our radiator fan connected to our radiator at the bottom. Radiator fan is connected to this radiator up top by those two. This one also up top by those two bolts, and on the bottom by this bolt and that bolt as well. So we're now just going to get our replacement radiator, this guy that you see right here, and then next we're just simply going to swap everything over. Again, keep in mind which goes over what first. So here again, this bracket goes over the bracket that's for this fan. So make sure when you remove this and it's time to put it back together, this goes over this bracket, etc. Also, we're gonna put new elbows on the radiator. So on the new one, you can see these elbows that come here. These are for the transmission cooler lines. They'll go here, and then when we put them in, we're gonna make sure they're relatively oriented the same direction, so putting everything back together will be simple. All right, first I'm just gonna simply go around and remove all the 10mm bolts. By the way, every bracket on this, well, I should say not every, but a lot of these brackets on this radiator have rusted off completely. That's how bad this thing is. Okay, I'm gonna remove this clamp, the old twisteroo. You can use the plier to push it out after you twist it loose, like that. And move on to these hoses. Like that. Set that there. There we go. And our fan. Yippee-ki-yay. What we're gonna do is just simply get this out of the way, put that in here like this, making sure we don't put it over any of the bolts or hoses that we removed. Now we just simply put everything back on top of this. All right, now if I remember this correctly, we need to install this fan first, then the bracket. Now this aftermarket radiator is a little different in that you're gonna have to use these nuts to install the brackets and the fans back on the radiator. They just slide in like this. We'll hand start the screws. I'm gonna run these down with this ratchet, but if you're using power tools on a radiator, especially a plastic one, you don't wanna tighten them with the power tool, no matter how weak like this is, because otherwise you can crack it and then you're gonna have to go replace it. So I'm just gonna run them down a little bit. And then once I have done everything, well, you can just hand tighten it with your ratchet. All right, next we're gonna put these elbows in for our transmission cooler lines, making sure they get oriented to the same direction as the old ones. Make sure you don't over tighten them because then you can cause a leak or damage to the flared ends. Now we'll do the same for this one. This one was a little bit oriented a little bit more this way. That's good. All right, next we'll grab our other radiator fan. Actually, we need to put these 4 nuts back into these brackets, like that. Then we'll put this back up here. And now we're gonna install this, this transmission hose. So yeah, we push it in here first, start these bolts, and we're gonna just tighten them up by hand. All right, next we'll put this transmission line back on and the clamps for them. When putting the clamps back on, you know, try your best to get them into the exact same location on the hose that you remove them from. There. All right, and last but not least, we're gonna put our lower radiator hose back on here and put its clamp back on. All right, so here's a closer look at everything put back together. You wanna do one last check. Make sure you put all the clamps back on all the hoses. You know, everything is tightened down, all the bolts are hand tight and everything. And also there's your drain valve. Make sure that's tight too. So yeah, now we're just ready to put it back in and this is where it goes. But before we do that, if you made a mess in some areas like me, this is a good time to go ahead and clean these areas before we put the radiator back in here. Oh, and by the way, there's easy access to the drain valve on this radiator right there. But I just wanted to show you guys this way just in case you don't have easy access to the drain valve. I'm just kidding. I just didn't want to jack the car up and get it underneath the car. But regardless, you had to remove the radiator this way anyway, unless you wanted to get underneath the car and not only drain the radiator, but also remove the splash shield that's underneath there to get access to all the clamps for the different hoses underneath at the bottom of the radiator. So, you know, we made a little bit of a mess, but this is not a huge deal. All right, so here's the area a bit more clean. Now, one thing I just noticed is that the old radiator, the support areas, rusted off of it and are stuck into these rubber grommets that goes into those holes at the bottom of the radiator support. So we need to actually remove these, take this rusted part out, and we're gonna have to do this on both sides. Remove this on this side as well. Then simply get these out of these rubber bushings. Like this, and then see if these rubber bushings would stick on these good enough for the reinstallation, and they do. So we'll put it on the radiator, otherwise you could just stick it into the hole. That's what she said. All right, now we're ready to put our new radiator back in the car, making sure we tuck this in because it's gonna have to go under the AC lines back into the thermostat housing back there. Also, we're gonna remember this time to put that connector back on this side of the radiator as well. This should go a lot smoother than the removal. Where's that connector? There it is. Okay. So yeah, we're pretty much in. We just have to find the area. Oh, got it on this side. On the other side, it should be as easy, hopefully. We're close on this side, but something is hanging things up. Looks like it's the radiator hose. All right, next we'll put our transmission lines back on. First we'll put this, slide this lower one back in. Then this upper one. And then we're gonna put the clamps on. There's one clamp and there's a second one. All right, next we'll reinstall the 3 brackets that we took off. As always, we'll start these by hand first. Of course, we don't want to forget this bracket. That's for the AC lines. We'll slide it in right here. And last but not least, we'll reinstall our upper radiator hose. I almost forgot. Don't forget to reinstall all your electrical connectors. All right, next we're ready to put coolant back into the system. And then from there, going on to remove air bubbles or air pockets from the coolant system, because as you may know, these Hondas are very sensitive to having air pockets into the cooling system. If you do and you don't bleed it out right, you're gonna have a fluctuating idle that's gonna drive you nuts, trying to diagnose it. Now, I'm going to do that in its own separate video because I'm going to be using a new tool and a new method to get all the air bubbles out of the coolant system, which should make things a lot quicker and also hassle-free. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned for that video. If you haven't already done so, subscribe and hit that bell notification. And also, if you want to see more videos like this, you can click on these videos on this side of the screen. There'll be videos in the suggestion box. Those will work as well. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.